That's when he tried biting. I ain't even noticed that till somebody said something.
I just know that from experience. So, I think he lost the fight. If we're being really honest, Tank, you lost that fight. I mean, the only reason they gave you the fight was because you would make more money as a champion, but there's no way it's a draw.
From my experience, I truly believe Tank lost that fight. If we're being honest, Tank, you didn't win. The only reason they gave you the victory was because you would make more money as the champion. But calling it a draw isn't fair. When a top fighter meets his match in the ring, they sometimes get desperate. We saw it when Mike Tyson bit Holyfield's ear.
No, I thought he would, and I thought he won the fight personally. Yeah, the no knockdown, that was like unheard of. It was the first time I've ever seen it with my own two eyes. And
Terrence Crawford has added to the controversy with his thoughts on GervontaDavis's fight, criticizing the officiating and questioning the result. Speaking on The Big Podcast with Shaq, Crawford didn't hold back. He said that Davis taking a knee should have been counted as a knockdown. He pointed out that any fighter who goes down on purpose should be counted, and he questioned why. The referee stopped in the middle of the count.
To the Tank fight, and when he took the knee, do you really think he had grease in his eye?
Well, let me start by saying 1,000% it should have been called a knockdown if you take a knee in any scenario in the fight. I don't know if he had grease in his eye or what. I know he took a knee, and that should have been called a knockdown.
If you take a knee in a fight, it should be counted as a knockdown, no matter the reason. Whether Tank had grease in his eye or something else, he took a knee, and that should have been called. But beyond that debate, Terrence Crawford made an even bigger claim. He believes Roach deserved the win. He argued that Roach was the busier and more aggressive fighter, landing more punches while Davis stayed too inactive in key rounds. While Crawford admitted that Davis controlled the middle rounds, he said Roach dominated both the...
I'm not.
He's a champ, though, too. Undefeated.
And what champ? Come on, man. Tell me what belt. You know boxing. You forgot Devin Haney is undisputed. Devin Haney got all the belts. He the champ. Nobody else the champ. I'm going to come up here where the big boys at.
Paulie Malignaggi didn't hold back, calling GervontaDavis a protected fighter and criticizing the fight as another staged moment in boxing. He claimed that Davis has been carefully guided, avoiding real challenges while being promoted as an unstoppable force. According to Malignaggi, the referee stopping the count showed clear favoritism, proving that Davis gets special treatment. He took it even further, saying that any fan still defending Davis is blindly supporting a fighter who hasn't truly earned his status. Malignaggi believes this fight was just another scripted event meant to keep up the illusion of Davis's dominance.
I don't know, man. I can't keep reiterating how disappointing GervontaDavis has been as far as the resume is concerned. If this is about as manufactured a star as you can make, and anybody who is going to defend that is really got to get their groupie lenses checked, because I've never seen a guy with this many pay-per-view headliners have not a single Hall of Famer on his resume. Not a single win on GervontaDavis's resume will make you look.
Danny Garcia took a more balanced approach, but still pointed out a hard truth. Gervonta. Davis's struggles were bound to happen. He admitted that Tank had a tough night, but blamed it on his lack of real challenges. In Garcia's opinion, Davis should have been fighting top champions years ago, but his careful matchmaking left him unprepared for real adversity. Now, with backlash growing, Garcia believes this is the result of years of protection. Fans are frustrated because Davis has avoided real tests like Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson. And when he finally...
it's just boxing, you just never know.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why I say in boxing it's better for you to just fight the best. Because if you lose, you lost to a fighter like you, a dog like you. But if you lose to a fighter with a lesser of a name, and you're supposed to win or a performance like this, it hurts your resume.
Rolando Romero shared a similar view, saying GervontaDavis simply had an off night, just like he did against Isaac Cruz. According to Romero, every fighter has tough nights, but when you're a star like Tank, the criticism is always louder. Even the best fighters can have nights where they're not at their best, and that shouldn't automatically lead to hate. However, Romero believes things are different with Tank. He knows people love to criticize him, and that's why a friend of Lamont Roach mentioned the biting incident. But for Romero, this kind...
People want to discredit Tank. He's still a pound-for-pound fighter.
What do you think about that fight that happened? You thought it was just an off night, or?
Everybody has an off night. Everybody has an off night. Shit, I had a off night with Cruz. Everyone has a night.
For years, the word protected has followed GervontaDavis like a dark cloud. Ever since he aligned with Floyd Mayweather, many in the boxing world have questioned whether he was truly being tested or just carefully managed to keep his undefeated record intact. His opponents were often handpicked, fights were set on his terms, and the biggest names in his division were consistently avoided. Now, after this controversial draw with Lamont Roach, the doubts about his career are louder than ever. The myth of Tank's invincibility has taken a serious hit, and for the first time, the world is seeing what happens when he's not in control.
Tank displayed in the ring should have led to a direct disqualification.
Did GervontaDavis take a knee, and should he have been deducted a point and in the end lost that fight to Roach, in your opinion?
Yeah, in my opinion, it was a draw. He take a knee. And plus the corner go up and put it a towel in the face. That's a disqualification for sure. I'm talking about the rule.
Boxing fans and pros have criticized GervontaDavis for years for avoiding real challenges. While fighters like Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson, and Teofimo Lopez have taken on tough opponents, Tank has stayed in his comfort zone. He built his reputation with flashy knockouts, but they came against fighters who weren't real threats. When he struggled against Isaac Cruz, the protected label started to stick. And now, after Roach exposed even more of his flaws, that...
Skill for skill, none of these guys can mess with me. Like, nobody. Like, I feel like my skills is way better than, like, Floyd. Like, if I'm on my game. You feel, well, yeah, I take that back. Probably hand in hand. But skill-wise, nobody on TV that's fighting right now have more skills than me. Nobody. Like, I'm talking about top to bottom list of fighters that's fighting on TV.
So what that got to do with you being, I guess, embarrassing? Like, because again, we seen you make posts on a story like the fight not happening. Like,
cause I don't never want to, like, me not doing my job like all the way, like me not training all the way, me not, you know.
Roach did something one expected. He made Tank look weak. He didn't just last the whole fight. He fought on equal terms and may have even done enough to win. Roach landed clean punches, shook Tank, and made him uncomfortable like no one else ever has. If Roach had more power, he might have knocked Tank out in a way that would have ruined his reputation forever. That's what makes this fight different. Tank isn't just dealing with a close or controversial result. He's facing the real fear that...
wasn't even registering or processing through my mind the other rules, to the simple fact that he could have got disqualified for having his corner come up to the ring and assist him during the round, or
you can't come to the mat.
Do that, or he can't turn his back on the, like during the fight. That's cause for that's the wave it all. He took a knee and then turned around and went to the corner. A ref will usually stop the fight.
When asked about a rematch, Tank didn't act like he usually does. He didn't demand to fight again, didn't call Roach an easy opponent, and didn't promise to fix his mistakes. Instead, he hesitated. That hesitation is why fans and critics are questioning him more than ever. If Tank truly believed he won, why not prove it with a rematch? If he thought Roach was no challenge, why not win in dominant fashion and end the debate? The fact that Tank didn't immediately agree to a rematch makes people think he knows it would be another tough fight.
I'm not sure, bro. I'm definitely not sure, but hopefully we could get it before. Nah, it probably won't be this year.
A rematch is unavoidable. The backlash, criticism, and doubts about Tank's legitimacy have made sure of that. If Tank refuses, he proves every negative thing people say about him, that he's protected, avoids real challenges, and isn't as good as he claims. If he accepts, he steps into the ring knowing that Roach has already hurt him once, and this time, the pressure will be even greater. Tank's biggest fear isn't just losing, it's becoming a meme, the joke of a viral moment. And right now, Roach is the one fighter who came dangerously close to making that fear come true.
100%. It's only a matter of time. We're gonna fight. We're gonna fight again. It's just whenever the fight gonna happen.
So it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
Jaron Boots Ennis sees the backlash against GervontaDavis as nothing more than hate.
He believes people have always been looking for a reason to tear Tank down, and this fight just gave them more fuel. According to Ennis, the criticism isn't about boxing. It's about personal dislike. And with Lamont Roach's corner adding to the chaos, throwing out lawsuits, making allegations, and even claiming Tank tried to bite his ear, the negativity has only intensified. Every controversy, every accusation, and every questionable moment is now being used to paint Tank as the villain, making it even easier for critics to attack him.
To paint Tank at
Lamont not being a big name, so they overblow it.
I think so, yeah, and I feel like people just don't like Tank to a point where any little thing, just because he ain't knock him out, he probably feel as though that he lost and he didn't, or it was a draw. You know, I feel like Tank was doing a lot of smart things in the beginning, moving a little bit too much, but I feel like he was still like frustrating and things like that. And I think Tank did a good job. Like, he looked sharp to me.
Teofimo Lopez has never been afraid to call out GervontaDavis. And after watching Tank struggle against Lamont Roach, he's more convinced than ever that Tank isn't as good as people think. To Teofimo, the fight exposed Tank's weaknesses. Forget the ear-biting allegations. The real issue was how much Tank struggled. He wasn't in control, wasn't dominant, and at times looked completely lost. If Roach gave him that much trouble, Teofimo believes there's no way Tank could handle Shakur Stevenson. In his eyes, Shakur would easily pick Tank apart, proving once and for all that Tank has been overrated. Of course, Tank's team doesn't see it that way. Kenya Ellis even fired back at Teofimo, saying he wouldn't last against Tank because they've studied his fighting style closely. Interview. Adding to Teofimo Lopez's take, Shakur Stevenson has also joined the conversation. Stevenson has been calling for a fight with GervontaDavis for a while, and after watching Tank's performance against Lamont Roach, he feels even more confident about the outcome. To Stevenson, Roach exposed Tank's weaknesses. He wasn't in control, he wasn't setting the pace, and he wasn't ready for what Roach brought to the fight. In Stevenson's eyes, Tank underestimated Roach and paid the price. He expected an easy night, but was caught off guard when Roach started landing clean shots.
Talk throughout the years what you would do against somebody like Tank, your style versus his. Was that not the blueprint? And can you not do 10x that?
I'm not even going to show him, but look, I want some money tonight. That's all I'm happy for. I want money tonight.
Shakur, tell us something, bro. Like, what did you think about the decision? Okay.
We still got to see each other. He say he want to fight me, so we going to fight.
But what do you think about the decision?
I told him I won.
You told him I won. Got you. I'll talk to you later.
What stood out most to Shakur Stevenson was how Tank reacted under pressure. He believes Roach's ability to counter and keep pushing forward made Tank uncomfortable, something that rarely happens in his fights. When Roach landed his best shots, Stevenson saw a fighter who wasn't as dominant as people thought. Now, with fans and fighters questioning Tank's skills, Stevenson sees an opportunity. He's ready to prove that Tank has always been overrated, and if Tank keeps avoiding him, Stevenson has another plan. He'll take on the man who exposed Tank, Lamont Roach. In fact, Roach recently revealed that a fight between him and Stevenson is already being discussed.
Shakur Stevenson said that if you can't get the rematch, he has a championship fight waiting for you. What do you think about that?
That's why I love him. Genuinely speaking, man, that's what I want to do. I want to fight the best fights. Like I said, hopefully we can get the rematch. If not, hopefully I can, more than likely we can get in there with Shakur because, we already talked.
Eddie Hearn thinks the backlash against GervontaDavis has gone too far. While he agrees that the 9th round was messy and that Tank should have been given a knockdown count, he doesn't think it's enough to change the fight's result. In Hearn's view, a warning would have been the right call, not a suspension, not a disqualification, and definitely not overturning the fight. He also doesn't expect the New York Athletic Commission to step in. Instead of discrediting Tank's career, Hearn believes this controversy should push him to come back stronger. While some think the fight should be reviewed, he doesn't believe Roach should be given the win. To him, this is just another lesson for Tank, one that should motivate him to be more disciplined in the ring. Despite all the criticism, Hearn
watched the fight. We had a show that night. I haven't watched the full fight. One thing that's kind of baffling is that it wasn't a knockdown. I mean, look, he wasn't hurt. There's no doubt about that. But if you take a knee in the fight and you touch down, whilst punches are being thrown, it has to be a knockdown. I've heard some people saying, "Oh, that he should be disqualified. He went back to the corner." I don't buy that, to be honest with you. I mean, I think that's a warning, but it's a bit of a bizarre situation for me. Like, there was a lot of people in boxing that were saying that this is a really tough fight. Like, Lamont Roach is a serious fighter. I said it might not be the biggest profile fight, but it's actually quite a tough fight. And Shakur said to me, like, even the day before, "I'm telling you, he's going to have big trouble tomorrow night." And I just feel like hopefully this could be the little something that gives Gervonta a little wake-up call to take him back to the mindset of maybe...
Joe Rogan didn't hold back when reacting to GervontaDavis's controversial draw against Lamont Roach. While many were debating whether Tank truly deserved the result, Rogan focused on Roach's performance. He admitted he hadn't watched Roach fight before, but was now a big fan, something that felt like a subtle jab at Tank. Instead of praising Davis, Rogan highlighted Roach's skills and said he hoped for a rematch, adding more fuel to the ongoing debate. For Davis, this wasn't just another opinion, it was another high-profile figure questioning his dominance. Rogan's words added to the growing belief that Tank had been exposed and wasn't the unstoppable force many thought he was. Interview. With more people backing Roach, the pressure for a rematch is growing. Now, as talk of a second fight gains momentum, GervontaDavis finds himself in an unfamiliar position, fighting to regain the respect he once had. The pressure on Tank is increasing, and WBA president...
Hey, no one cares. If a fly by, drop the ball, bro.
Right.
Drop the damn ball. We don't care if a fly flew by your helmet or your eyes.
Yeah, nobody gives a fuck.
You can't be a championship fighter and taking a knee and putting on those type of performances.
Also, what are they putting in his hair? That when
Roach, who entered the fight as an underdog, has suddenly become one of the biggest names in boxing. His performance didn't just surprise fans, it also caught the attention of major figures in the sport. Even Joe Rogan has praised Roach publicly while barely mentioning GervontaDavis. If Roach ends up on Rogan's podcast, it could boost his profile even more, cementing his status as the fighter who exposed the so-called face of boxing. Meanwhile, Davis isn't just facing criticism from fans and analysts. He's also here.
I say this fight needs to happen again because both fighters have something to prove. I just saw a tweet from GervontaDavis saying that he was going to activate the rematch. Is it going to happen? I don't know. Would I like to see this fight happen? Yes, I would like to see a fight happen again because I think that the next fight is going to be a whole lot better. And I think the next fight is going to end with somebody being on the canvas.